This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships, sex, and love. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Sex and Singapore City podcast, and I am Nick Selena. Hi, it's Nick Selena. Welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had an awesome weekend and got lots of cool shit planned for this week. This episode is how to get over a breakup fast. That's right, folks. How can you get over a breakup fast? Because when you're all in that breakup mode, it's torture. And all you want to do is get over it as quickly as you possibly can. I should know. I've just been there. Some of you may or may not know that I was engaged, and the engagement is now off because he cheated on me. Dum dum dum. Must be like my theatrics today. Yeah, my fiancé cheated. And then for good measure, once I caught him out the first time, he then cheated again a week later, just to really stick the knife in. So I left. Ain't going back. But it's, it was, jokes aside, really fucking hard. I'd only been with him a year. However, it was a very intense, strong connection, strong bond relationship, I guess I would say. I mean, he proposed. I said yes. And I had every intention of marrying this guy. I did. We found a venue. We were going to get married next year. We were then going to have kids. It was a big deal. So how did I get over it, and how did I get over the breakup fast? You're like, Nix, are you sure? Are you okay? Because that sounds heavy shit, man. Like, you're going to marry him. He cheated on you more than once. And now you're like, cool, okay. A few months in and you're fine. Yeah, I am. And this is why I'm going to relay all this information to you guys, so that if you are ever in the breakup mode, if you've ever been cheated on and had to leave that person even though you still loved them, because let's call a spade, right? I didn't want to be cheated on. I didn't want to leave him because I thought we were cool and life was great. So I had no idea I was dealing with a lying sack of shit, right? I thought he was a good man. Wrong. But I didn't want to break up. I didn't want to be single again, and I didn't want to have to leave him. These were all actions that I had to go through off the basis of his terrible behavior. So I find myself in the breakup position once more, and I'm like, let's fucking get over this as fast as possible. So let's go on pointers to help you all when you, that sounds so pessimistic, when you next have to break up with your partner, if you ever break up. Okay, point 1. I call it, this too shall pass. It's one of my favorite sayings. I might get a tattoo. Well, I love a tattoo of random shit on my body. This too shall pass. So I keep this in my mind because I want to remind myself that everything can change. Change is inevitable. This will not stay this way forever. You will not be in this situation you're in forever. You will not feel the way you feel forever. Everything changes, including the bad times. This too shall pass. I know it kills like a motherfucker now. I get you. But honestly, you're going to move past it. I know I healed before with my ex, so I know I can do it again. And even that, coming from a position of strength the second time, I broke up with my narcissistic ex a year and a half ago. I only had 6 months of being single and recovering before my fiancé came along and did the same thing. Point 2, I started saying yes to everything. Yes. Random trip to Bali? Yes. I'll get on the next flight. Yes. Going to this place? Yes. I decided not to sit at home and wallow. Whilst that is an important part of it, I wanted to just go out, try new things, meet new people, and just made sure I said yes to everything. I mean in reason, okay, people? Some things you can say no to. Moving on to point number 3. In part of my yes mode, I was also connecting with loads of new people. I actually confided in a lot of people around me that I would never normally have thought to go to. And they reached out, and then, I'm having these connections that I now really cherish. And yeah, just part and parcel saying yes was saying yes to people. And I realized I had a lot of people around me that were fucking awesome. And that really does help when you need to talk shit out and when you feel like crap. Having connections is an important part of it. Point 4, not crying. I know it's really ridiculous. I just stopped crying. I was just like, you're an asshole. I don't want to cry over you anymore. You're not worth my tears. If you propose to me and you can't keep it in your fucking pants and I'm about to become your wife, but you're going off to hotel rooms with other women, you're an asshole. And I stopped crying. And then not crying helps. Shock. Point 5. I slept loads. What? Yeah, I did. I fucking slept loads. It was great. I listened to my body. I was so exhausted from what this dude had put me through. Just being to emotional hell and back. A lot of shit went down. It was like a bomb. An atomic bomb exploded in my house, right? And within a week and a half, so much crap. Just so much crap. And I was exhausted and I slept. I just let myself sleep. I didn't have any FOMO about not being out. Naps, sleep, it helps. It helps to rejuvenate your body. When you're emotionally broken, your body takes a battering as well. So you need to really rest, I think. I just rested a lot. Point number 6, cut all contact. This one I haven't been able to do because of living situation. So not all contact, but I certainly revoked contact. Cutting all contact is it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You have to. It helps. Get on with it. Cut the contact. I know you're ruminating. I know you want to go, why? Why did you do this to me? Or why don't you love me anymore? Or why have you left me? Or whatever this reason is in your head that the breakup happened. I know that's going on a lot up there and you just need to get it out. Don't get it out to that person. If you're dealing with someone toxic, then half the time they don't give a fuck. So many emails I sent to my ex-fiance, why have you done this to me? Why? I don't understand what I did so wrong to you for you to cheat on me and then just come at me with rage, what have I done? And I just get ignored, sidestep that bit, and then try and blame me for something else irrelevant to the conversation. So, it's futile. It's pointless. So just cut all contact. Anything you want to say, you write it down in a journal, which I'll get to later, or you talk to a therapist. Point number 7, I stopped second-guessing myself or blaming myself. So it was yeah, I stopped all that. That happens at the beginning of the breakup. The what ifs suck. And actually a fair few people do reach out to me and say, can you do an episode on the what ifs after a breakup? And I think it is actually a really worthy episode for itself. But part of the process was to just stop second guessing. I know what he did. I know what I caught. I have suspicions on what I didn't catch. I also know I'll never get the truth because he's incapable. And I know that, like, I fell in love with a lie, which is a shame. But I kind of hold my own truths. I don't blame myself for what happened to me. I'm not blaming myself for trusting again. I'm not blaming myself for loving someone again. I'm not blaming myself for choosing a cheat. You cannot control other people's emotions and their behaviors, sadly. And some people are just knobs, aren't they? Point number 8, exercise. Okay, this one, I actually took like 2 months off exercise. I wasn't eating enough to be able to facilitate actual exercise, but I was always walking along the river. But I dropped like 8.5 kg in the first couple of weeks. We know I do this by now. This is not the first rodeo and it's not intentional. I just suffer from the stress and anxiety of the emotional side, and it has a physical effect on my body. I also stopped the lifestyle that I had with him, which is a lifestyle of excess. So I was like less food, less alcohol, because I was back on my own again and able to manage my own diet and whatnot, not be led astray. But exercise, talking of led astray, I'm just totally leading myself astray here. Exercise is a really important part of the breakup recovery. Even when you don't want to, you need to move your body. You need to get those endorphins pumping around your body. You have to get out and, get in fresh air if you can, get out in nature. Like I said, even if it's just a walk or you're walking the dog or you're just going like, that's enough. If that's all you can manage, it's still better than nothing. But exercise will really help. It also helps clear your mind, doesn't it? It gives you mental clarity. Talking of mental clarity, point number 9, I took a while, but I taught myself to understand the reality of him. And by what I mean with the reality of him is I accepted who he is. I understood that I'd been lied to on repeat. I understood that it wasn't real, like you can't propose and a month later cheat and actually genuinely love your future wife, right? It's impossible. It's mutually exclusive. Like, you can't do that. So if you are cheating the way you did, you can't have loved me the way you said you did, And it's hard to have to accept this shit. It's hard to say that out loud. But once you do understand the reality of this person or the situation you're in, that acceptance helps find the closure and the peace. It's hard to admit it, but when you do admit it, you sort of it's like throwing up your hands. Like, you know what? I accept it. This was actually what you did to me. This is actually who you are. And it kills, but that's the reality. When you're like that, it's kind of also a bit like, And with that, I will love you and leave you. I actually have another 9 more points to go, and I will be talking to you about all of them in next week's episode. So stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Thanks for listening to the Sex and Singapore City podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by me, Nick Selena, and recorded at the Splicecast studio in Singapore. I'm available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe to enjoy a new episode every Monday evening. Please do give me a 5-star review. It helps other people also find my podcast. For more awesome content and features to read, you can check out my website, sexandsingaporecity.com. That's sexandsingaporecity.com. I'm also on social media. Simply search at Nick Selena, Nixalina, to find me. Don't be shy. Come say hi.